Finn Bailey with IntuBoxing. I'm delighted to be joined with Tommy Frank. How are you, mate?
I'm very well. Thanks for having me on. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Thanks for asking. Excited for the fight, but if it's all right with you, talking a bit about how you got into boxing, if that's all right, just let us know how you started your journey and how you found boxing as a sport.
Yeah, so I was about 12 or 13 year on when I first took up boxing. And what it were, one of my cousins used to box for the gym I'm still with now, Sheffield Boxing Centre. So going round to my cousin's house, my uncle, he used to be like a big boxing fan. He used to have a punch bag round at his house and stuff. And I can always remember, being little, maybe like 9, 10, 11, going round and seeing punch bag, and he used to put on like Mike Tyson greatest knockouts and stuff like that. So I kind of knew that my cousin were into it. He were having amateur fights, and then like I said, when I was around 12 or 13, I asked my dad to take me down to the gym one day. He took me down one Saturday morning, I think it was, and I can always remember the first time walking into Sheffield Boxing Centre, because we've still got them all now, but all the bags are like hung on scaffolding poles, and the gym goes right back all the way down to the bottom with bags. So it was like a busy Saturday morning. Everyone were on bags, and I can just remember hearing the rattling of the scaffolding poles, and that's always stuck with me. And I was just like, I was a bit scared, to be honest with you. Like I'd never been in a boxing gym, and I thought, wow, I'm gonna get thrown in and punched in the face, and I was a bit scared. I was a bit nervous, and I didn't really. I think at first, I think I liked the idea of it more than actually doing it. Like I said, I think I was a little bit timid. I weren't very confident, and for the first couple of years, I just used to go training, and I did some sparring, but I don't really think I like getting punched, to be honest with you. But I
Yeah,
think
that idea of punching
as
someone
time went
in the face.
on, a few of my
I was going to say the
what's
idea
that? Sorry.
the idea of punching someone in the face is a lot better than getting punched in the face yourself.
Yeah, well, of course it is. Yeah, it's always better to punch someone than get punched yourself. But I started going with a couple of my schoolmates, but as the weeks, they were probably better than me. But as the weeks and the months went on, they kind of just drifted off and stopped going, and I just kept with it. I kept going, once or twice a week, and then I was playing football at the time. My dad used to take me football training. I used to train with a team, but I would never. I mean, I wouldn't say I was worst player on planet, but I weren't good enough to get picked for the team. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I had mates that used to play for this team, Woodhouse Juniors, it were in Sheffield. So I used to go, and I used to train with him every week, but I was never good enough to get picked. Do you know what I mean? But this were at the same time that I would doing my boxing training. And then I think it got to around the time when I was about 14, and my dad just said to me, "Look, I've seen you box, I've seen you play football. I think you've got a bit of a talent for boxing. So why don't you just put everything into boxing, if that's what you enjoy?" And then, to be fair, that's what I did. I didn't. I packed in playing football. I just focused on boxing. Started training 3 or 4 times a week then, and then that was it. That was the turning point. I started having my amateur fights when I was 15. So like my last year of secondary school, I started having my amateur fights, and it's all I've ever done since then. So
How did your amateur career go? So you just found boxing. How did your amateur career go before you just turned pro?
do you know what I had? I think I literally won one more than I lost as an amateur. I think I had like maybe 45 fights. So I had a very half and half record. And when I first started boxing amateur, I was like pretty much what I am now, to be honest, like 49, 50 kilo. And there weren't too many fighters about at that weight. So I found myself having to box very, very good kids very early on. So from having like 5 or 6 fights, I was going into national championships and boxing kids who'd had 40 odd fights, and I wasn't beating them, but I wasn't being outclassed either, you know. So, and that kind of brought me on. It kind of brought my confidence on a lot. So, and then like I said, you know, I went through the amateurs. You know, I didn't win any national titles. You know, I won, you know, Yorkshire titles and Yorkshire belts, and I think I got to the national quarterfinals. But I just I always knew that the style I had, and you know, being from a professional gym in Sheffield Boxing Centre, that I was always going to be more suited to professional, you know, style of fighting. But you know, I'm very glad that I had them experiences as an amateur. You know, they helped, you know, develop me. So yeah.
And then looking at where you are now, what does it mean for a fighter to be fighting for that Lonsdale belt?
Yeah, it's all I've been saying lately. It's just a dream come true, a massive dream come true. You know, just I remember, you know, first starting boxing and watching fighters win the Lonsdale belt. You see it, and it's just such a beautiful belt, very prestigious, very historic, and you know, your name's going down in history if you win a Lonsdale belt. So it's just something that I'm very excited for, you know, and I'm trying not to focus on it too much. You know, I want to focus on actually the fight, you know, winning the fight, performing well, you know, so that's first and foremost. But I've been visualizing that Lonsdale belt and getting it wrapped around me, and you know, hopefully my name's going to go down on the list of a lot of great fighters who's actually on that title. So yeah, it's a big thing.
I mean, you're going to be fighting for it on Fightzone. Why don't you let the people who want to catch a fight know how they can catch that on Fightzone?
Yeah, so you can Google Fightzone. I think it's actually fightzone.tv. You can subscribe. It's $4.99 a month. You know, it's like less than a coffee in
Cup of
some
coffee,
places.
yeah.
Depending where you go, you know, a couple of cups of coffee is less than that. So it's 100% worth your money. They're putting shows on week in, week out. You know, so it's not just Saturday. You know, pretty much every weekend there's a Fightzone show or two. Sometimes we have them on a Friday and a Saturday. And it's just brilliant value for money. You know, the good fights, they're young prospects coming through that are being matched good and being tested, and then you've got good title fights, obviously like the one I'm involved in, a British title fight. You've got European title fights, Central Area title fights. So it's just a fantastic platform. It's just it's another string added to the bow of British boxing. I think, you know, it's just another platform where fans can tune in and enjoy Friday night or Saturday night boxing, and that's what it's all about.
And what's it like been working with Dennis Hobson?
Oh, brilliant! Well, I mean, I've known Dennis for years now. You know, obviously we've worked closely together since I turned pro. You know, Dennis and Fight Academy, they're my management. Obviously, Glyn Rhodes is my trainer. So we've just got, you know, it's just a dream team. It really is. You know, we're all Sheffield. We're all day one. You know, we're all very close and very loyal together, and we know where we want to end up. You know, and as Dennis and Glyn always said to me, you know, not only are we, you know, ticking off boxes, but we're making memories as well. You know, so on Saturday night in my hometown of Sheffield, you know, this will be my 16th professional fight, and I fought 15 of them in Sheffield. And to be honest, I've probably topped the bill about 6 or 7 times now as well. So that's just an amazing thing to think, you know, about. And you know, it makes me very proud. Everyone knows I always bang on about how proud I am, you know, to be from Sheffield, and I love the Sheffield people. And I've got, you know, a good few of them coming on Saturday night, and it's going to be good. Can't wait.
Well, Saturday night, looking at the fight in front of you, how have you been training for it? I'm interested to know, are you training differently for the opponent, or is it just when you're in training camp, you're focusing on your own game?
Yeah, I always like to just focus on myself. I mean, you do have a little look at the opponent, of course you do, and you know, me and Glenn will sit down and say, look, you know, we think this is going to work. We think this shot's going to work on him. So you always have little things in your mind what you think are going to work for the opponent you're fighting. But I don't get too carried away in like studying my opponent. You know, I just like to make sure that I'm the best that I can be, that I'm sharp. And ultimately, I think, you know, you can have a game plan for a certain opponent, but on the night, they might do something completely different. So, you know, that might just throw you off completely. So, you know, you have an idea of how you think the fight's going to go, but I'd like to think I'm very good at adjusting to what's in front of me on the actual night. I think that counts for a lot. I think if you're a fighter that can make adjustments during the fight, you know, it's never a bad thing. So yeah, so like I said, you know, the trainings, as we always say, we don't really have training camps, as we say. You know, we don't come into the gym 8 or 10 weeks before a fight and start training. You know, I like to just train all year round. You know, I'm not firing on all cylinders all year round. I'm just ticking over, working on my craft, working on little things. But I like to keep fit in general. I like to you know, feel healthy. It's like if I don't train, I'm a bit edgy, I'm a bit off, and like my fiance will say to me like, what's up with you? And it's probably because I am trained on that day. It's just so even when I haven't got a fight coming up, I like going to the gym. I like getting the sweat on, and it's good for your mind as well, and all my food as well. You know, I enjoy eating a healthy food. I mean, don't get me wrong. After I've boxed, I'll have a few days, you know, eating a bit of chocolate and stuff, but I've had to sacrifice. But on the whole, you know, I like living a healthy lifestyle. It just makes me feel good in myself. So we always say we don't have camps. You know, it's a lifestyle. So I'll be straight back in gym. Probably Sunday morning, straight back in gym. Have a little check off.
If that's how it is, do you prefer this period leading up to a fight where you're at your peak physical fitness, you're eating the best of? Is that where you're at your happiest, or does it feel like once the fight's over, then you just want to get back into it again?
To be honest, it's different. It's a very different feeling, because any fighter will tell you, like right now, the day before the weigh-in. So I'm very, very sharp. It's like obviously because your weight's coming down and you're supremely fit. You know, you've had weeks of training in the bank. You're very sensitive to things. Like I've just had a espresso about half an hour ago, and it's like proper gone to my head. It's like it's meant to go loop there, but that's because I'm very sensitive. You know, my body's like finely tuned.
Yeah.
So there's like any fighter, I'm telling you, like just before you box, like you're so fit, it's unbelievable. And then, you know, after the fight, I try and not go too mad with eating junk food, because it kind of shocks your body. You know, you have the fight, and especially if it's a 12 rounder, you know, you're going to be aching and stuff after. So then in the days, all you want to do is just pig out and eat. But I try and calm it down a little bit, because I don't want to shock my body. And then you just feel that because you're not used to it for all them weeks. You know, your body just don't want like toxic in it. You know, so you have to be careful with that. But it's always nice to unwind with your family and do some nice things after your fight, and you know, go out for some food and stuff, and just be normal for 3 or 4 days. You know, just be a normal 28-year-old or whatever. And but then you start getting itchy knuckles, as us fighters call it. You start getting itchy knuckles, and you want to get back in gym and get back to work.
when you're looking at this fight now, as you've been training, as you've been building up to it, have you just got the blinkers on and you're just looking at this one fight and that's all you can see, that's all you want to think about? Or are you having a little sneaky look at what could come after this fight, what you want to do, what the goal is after this fight?
No, just this fight. I've got one goal, and that's to be crowned British Flyweight champion on Saturday. That's it. So there's no looking past it. It's all I've had in my mind since the fight, came off. Basically, 4 or 5 weeks ago, whatever. So it's just blinkers, mate. Just blinkers. I'm looking forward to to putting in a good performance Saturday, and that's it.
And what can everyone who's going to be watching it from home, what can they expect to see? What do you want to show them?
Just I think it's going to be a good fight to watch. And basically, if I do what I do as well as I know I can do it, I think I'm going to look pretty good on Saturday. I think I'm in with a fighter who's gonna complement me, who's gonna make me look good. So basically, I've got to be switched on. I know I'm in with a very game kid in Matt, and he's going to be well up for this. But then again, so am I. So we're just going to have a fight, and whoever's better, whoever's sharper, whoever's smarter on the night is going to win, and that's going to be me.
Perfect. Well, Tommy, thanks for joining me, mate. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Maybe have a catch up after the fight, yeah?
Hopefully, mate, yeah?
Yeah, top man. Thank you.